live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to another edition of Comin In Klutch every Monday night, 6:30 to 7:30 on the Eric B. Media platform. As always, the Comin In Klutch podcast is being brought to you by the folks at Tri-City Mortgage and, of course, their great partners over at the Walsh Title and Closing Company that are working together and bringing you the best home buying experience. Tri-City Mortgage, the best place to get a mortgage in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Led by the great Dave Pereira and a team at Troy City, have local roots and deep knowledge and expert solutions to get you the best mortgage possible. Giving them a call at 508-207-5864, 508-207-5864. That's where you'll get all those great incentives and all those great tools and services that you need for your mortgage. And, of course, Walsh Title and Closing, if you need them and their services, they are easily located at 508-858-5725, and that's 508-858-5725. Good evening, folks. Thank you once again for chiming in on another edition of Comin In Klutch Sports Podcast. And, of course, I also want to personally thank, again, our continued sponsorships coming in and helping us to keep this alive and keep this going so we can provide you the most real up-to-date sports that are out there. Colby, what's happening, man?
Hey, another week, baby.
Another week, baby. And the sun was out, but don't get fooled. It's freaking cold.
It was freezing today.
It was cold out there. I went out there with shorts. I had to go back in and get
Got that right.
It was cold. What's going on?
Yeah, same crap, different day, man.
I hear you. I know we're a little bit down after the March Madness stuff, which we'll get into. But as always, folks, we always start our podcast. If you're chiming in for the very first time, thanks for chiming in. If you've been chiming in since the beginning, thank you for continuing to chime in. And if you're not chiming in, you suck. So get chimed in. But certainly we appreciate the viewers and listeners and folks who actually see the podcast and view the podcast after the show. I know sometimes it may not always be feasible for some folks to check it out. So once again, we're here, and we always start with our opening vent, which is being brought to you by who? Go ahead, Colt.
Core Nutrition.
Yes.
Located at 25 Market Street, Swansea. Like I say every week, that is my breakfast of choice, especially now that spring is almost here, or was here for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And summer's right around the corner. So for everyone trying to shed some pounds and look right for the beach season, head on down to Core Nutrition. Go see Anna and the gang. They'll give you the best Herbalife shakes around.
No doubt about it. And, of course, Titletown Trucking for those trucking needs as well is being brought to you by them as well. So our opening vent, Colby, I think you're up first, I believe, but I don't remember. So
hey, that's fine. I'll go.
Go ahead.
So my vent is going to be about the Patriots and the fans, or fake fans, maybe I should say, around here. Everyone's already getting all pissed off. Everyone's already picking the Pats to be a middler team, or they're going to suck next year.
Yep.
And what I want to say is newsflash. The season doesn't start for another 5 to 6 months. So let's pump the brakes a little bit and see what's going to go on. I understand a bunch of teams have made moves, pretty big moves, but you know what? Just like we always have our conversations, there's going to be moves that were made that just aren't going to work out for those teams.
Yeah, not every single move is going to be 100%.
Just like the Patriots went on a spending spree last year, and there's a few moves that didn't work out.
About 50%.
It's bound to happen.
That's right.
So let's just pump the brakes, because there's still plenty of free agents out there, pretty good ones too, solid free agents out there, and plenty of trades can happen. So let's just pump the brakes, see what's going to go on, and who knows. And the other gripe I've been hearing is, the Patriots coaching staff sucks. Look at, you got Matt Patricia, you got Joe Judge. Another newsflash I want to bring out. Do you know when they weren't head coaches, they were actually pretty solid coaches at their position? So, okay, the head coaching gig didn't work out. Okay, so come back and do what you're good at.
It didn't work out for Josh McDaniels either.
Exactly. People forget that.
The first time.
So I'm going to give them a chance and see what happens.
And apparently it didn't work out for Flores enough where he was supposed to stay.
Exactly.
And Flores was supposed to be the guy. So,
but, just because they're not a sexy name or they got fired, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, right.
It really doesn't mean anything.
Totally.
Because Judge was a quarterback, I believe, in his college days. And so I'm guessing he's going to be the offensive guy.
Yep.
And then
that's what I think too.
Patricia's supposed to be the offensive line, but just give him a chance. You know what I mean?
Yep, I totally get it. We've talked about this topic for the last few weeks, folks, about people just absolutely infatuated with the lack of moves that the team is making because they're moves that you, as fans, are not seeing. And it's moves that you want them to do to better the team because at 10-7 with a rookie quarterback in the first, getting into the playoffs, and at one point being the number one seed in the season is not good enough at this stage of the game. I'm not saying it should be good enough forever. I'm just saying at this stage of the game, it's not good enough for you. So people are going to be griping about it because they want the Pats to get every single guy. They wanted Von Miller. They wanted Khalil Mack. They wanted to go get Allen Robinson. They wanted to go get Tyreek Hill as well.
Even that, I heard the Tyreek Hill on the 2 to 6 show. They're over here saying, how come the Pats weren't involved? Did you see the picks that they gave up? And did you see the money that they gave Tyreek Hill? Come on, people.
Yeah.
Do you really think the Patriots were going to be involved in that?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
With 75 million guaranteed, whatever it is, 65 million guaranteed. Yeah, it's absurd. They gave up the kitchen sink, and because they felt like they had to do that. And, since when is a receiver going to be that impactful? Well, I guess we'll see if it's worth the 23 million. He's a great player, but he was also a gadget guy when he came in, according to many of the local guys who are saying, why could they not be into that guy and be into getting him? Well, you thought he was a gadget guy in 2017 and 2018.
Correct.
Now all of a sudden, here he is because he put his work in. So there you have it, folks. The phantom of the Patriots phenomenon continues as a gripe in this show. So it shall continue, and it shall continue all the way up until training camp and seasons and preseasons and all that. So my opening vent, even though I am not in a great mood, I have a lot to digest. But I am going to say that it is quite an opening positive one. It's going to be relatively quick. Big congrats to the United States men's soccer team. Put a shellacking on Panama, 5-1. And the great Pulisic put on a clinic, folks. A clinic last night. And with that game, they pretty much solidified their gateway to Qatar for the World Cup. And you might say, well, who cares? And you may have already dropped off because it's soccer talk. Hang tight. Be open-minded for 2 milliseconds. The men's team might be a force to reckon with in Qatar. And if they land a really reasonable group, they could get out of that group. They're playing solid soccer from the back to the front. They are missing players that are core players. Matt Turner still injured.
Yes.
They got McKinnon, the kid from Juventus. He has not been playing either. He's injured.
He's hurt.
Yeah, he's been hurt with a broken foot. So, and they have other pieces that are not even there yet. And the team is playing with heart. They're playing with fire. Greg, the coach, Beneneman, he is absolutely on fire with these guys. He's making these guys believe. And they're going to Costa Rica. And they got to just simply take care of business down there, meaning don't lose like 9-0 because the goal differential is so huge. So congrats to the men's team for showing up, playing, doing what they got to do. Portugal is not in it yet, by the way. They're still going through playoffs. They got to play, I believe it's the winners. They got to play North Macedonia, which is ranked 64th. I'm not sure where Macedonia is. I think I get confused with macadamia nuts for some reason.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah, of course I do because I'm chubby. And that's what chubby people do. So, but I will say that it is a team that did beat Italy. And you look, it's the only sport, folks. This is why I gripe on it in a good way. It's the only sport where the opponent team had 32 shots on net, 16 corner kicks, and they lost the game. In any other sport, you think about baseball, if you get 30 you get 32 hits in baseball, you're probably going to win, right? If you make 32 field goals or whatever, you're going to make it in basketball. Goals. Exactly. So that is the opening positive event for me. Is the men's team will be a force to reckon with. They're playing a positive, and Pulisic put on a clinic yesterday, putting on a hat trick. First one he's had in the men's national. So, congrats to the men's team. Keep howling, keep going. One more game to get to Qatar in November. And if you're wondering why it's in November, it's freaking hot down there in the summer. So they got to play it on a later time of the year. That's what I got. So, as always, folks, we are here at 508-974-3040 is our call-in, and we'll take a quick break, and coming out of it, we will get right into this edition of Sportscast. Don't go anywhere. Comin In Klutch. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Comin In Klutch every Monday night, 6:30 to 7:30 on the Eric B. Media Podcast. Coming out of the break, we had discussed our opening events like we always do, and Kobe had his venting about the Patriots and, of course, the lackluster fans who just are not appreciative of anything that's been going on lately. Some of you may have your reasons, some of you may not. I don't know. But the reality is it continues to be a daunting thing to listen to every day when they don't.
It's gonna be, unfortunately,
when they don't do the picks and the moves that you want them to do. I spoke on a more positive note, which is very rare, to be able to have us discussing the men's soccer team. They're going into the World Cup and going to Qatar in November, and they got one game left to pretty much just check the box because they're going. So there you have it. So, folks, of course, we are in the middle and the heat of it of the March Madness, and boy, is it mad. There is a reason why it's the greatest time of the year when it comes to hoop. And it was obviously misfortunate that the PC Friars did not make it past the round of 16 on Friday night. But I want to tell you, I don't think they were that far inferior to Kansas. I really think that was just their shots didn't go in. Their shots didn't go in. The decision didn't go in. I think some of the players, the scene, the site, the opportunity, the stage might have been a little big for them.
I think they were just playing way too tight.
Yep.
It's kind of that simple. They were playing too tight.
Yep.
You could tell they weren't themselves. You had Reeves. Every time he shot the ball, it looked like he was trying to shoot it to the next state over, and that's not like him.
No, it's not.
Unfortunate.
It was unfortunate because they had a great run, and I, they kept the game pretty tight. They lost by 5, I think, 61.
It's crazy to think after the first half, the way they played that first half,
how they won.
That they actually took a lead.
They did.
In the second
yeah,
half,
with Harkler inside the paint
with 5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, they did. And I think if they get past Kansas, I think that they would beat Miami.
I think so too.
I think they would have beat them. I do. I watched that team play.
Dude, they got their ass handed to them yesterday.
Oh man, holy smokes! So of course, this is the time of the year where typically you start seeing the Elite Eight going to the Final Four. That's usually where the Cinderella stories kind of get pulverized, and of course, St. Peter's destination also came to an end. So if you want to chime in on that and discuss what you thought about PC or any of the games that you may have caught, I was able to catch a few of them. Certainly. PC had obviously a tremendous year, and them getting to the Sweet 16 was a big feat for them. And I think they hung in there for a while, especially at the end. They came back and they wanted to stick it to Kansas. And at one point, Kansas felt like they were on their heels a little bit.
And the one thing I did, that I hope the national media or the national audience, I should say, took out of that game is that all year PC kept, everyone kept saying, "Oh, they're lucky. They're lucky. They're lucky. It's all luck." Right. But listen, it's not all luck for you to hang with a team like Kansas,
right?
Who was the number one seed in that bracket, and for them to almost pull that out, that's not luck. Man.
No,
that just goes and shows you this was a team.
It was.
They played like a team all year.
They did. They really did. So there's going to be obviously a lot of moves, and players moving on. Might be a couple of players coming back for a 5th year kind of thing, but we'll see. A couple of things that I want to see improve though. I think Bynum needs to keep improving on his game.
Yes.
He's going to be a senior next year. They're going to count on him as the point. He needs to be able to have a better clock in his head, have a better control of his handle, and kind of simmer down on some of those turnovers. He didn't play so hot. Durham had good moments too. There are 3 possessions that I thought in the second half that really hurt him. The air ball by Harkler, which really was a weird situation where Durham was waiting for the pick and Reeves isn't even looking. Again, high moments, high pressure stakes, didn't execute there. There was a kind of a weird forced shot by Durham late in the paint. I thought was not really his shot.
Yeah, that was awful.
That was an awful shot. That's a bad possession. If you look at the situation there, that's a 6-point swing, and there you have it. So, unfortunate for them, but fortunate for the fact that the program was able to get back on the map again.
First time in 25 years.
So that's a monumental thing. So we are down to now the Final Four, Hope, I guess you could say. It's not names that are surprising. Not really in my bracket.
Believe it or not, North Carolina is an 8th seed.
Yep, they are.
And they're obviously a popular team, but this wasn't one of their better years, I should say.
Right. And here they are. People were really, starting to jump on the UNC bandwagon. I mean, I'm not a big fan of any of the teams left, to be honest.
Listen,
but
I hate UNC. I've always hated Duke. I'm kind of glad they're both facing off against each other. At least one of them will be eliminated.
Right. Yeah, I'm not a fan of either one either. How can you be a Duke fan, really? I'm not sure, but I'm definitely not by any stretch of the imagination. Kansas is on the other end, and they are going to be facing
Villanova.
Which again is another Big East team.
Which, you know what? I mean, we don't like them during the season, but I'll probably root for Villanova because they are in the Big East and it looks good.
It looks
Someone
good.
in the Big East to win the national championship.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Maybe it might solidify, those battles that PC had against those guys.
Correct.
So I'm in the same boat as you. I'm rooting for Villanova for that reason only. I don't want Kansas to go any further. I hate the guy. I hate that kid, Remy Martin. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't like that kid.
It looks like he just came out of jail.
Holy smokes! You know what? He didn't hit free throws when he absolutely had to. He kind of crapped his pants almost, and I guess he came out of an injury and so forth.
But they were talking about him like he was the next up-and-coming Jordan.
Yep.
It was insane.
Yeah, was not a big fan.
Yes, you will, John. Go Nova.
That's right. Let's go.
We want you to get paid.
Yes, we do. Yeah. There you go. When the bettings continue. Make sure you're in Rhode Island, but you can't bet PC in Rhode Island. So you got to go to New Hampshire or Connecticut.
Yeah.
Keep driving with that $5 a gallon for gas, and back, of course. There you have it, folks. A little bit of college hoop talk. Hopefully your brackets weren't all busters. I think a lot of folks got busted up, especially when, the Kentucky started going out.
0.1%. left to get the Final Four correct.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow, crazy. Yep, I didn't have any. All my guys are gone. I still have Kansas in there, but I want them to lose now, so who cares? That's the only guy I have left. So there you have it, folks. 508-974-3040 is the call. Of course, please call in, chime in. We got some viewers on. It's a great cold summer, spring-ish time. Don't get confused. March is not good weather yet.
No.
And it was April, quite frankly. April kind of tries to message you, but it's not really
rains.
Good. Yeah, it's not really good. Yeah. It just rains, and the April showers are kind of a disaster. I think the grass likes it, and that's about it. So if you have a great lawn, congratulations on everyone else is miserable. So there you have it. Going on to, since we're on hoop, how can we not talk about the Boston Celtics? And of course, we had the great John Nunes on our show several weeks ago. He was saying the 3 seed, and I was like, wow, 3 seed, that would be ecstatic. Well, it looks like they might get right to the top. 7 games left. They could get there.
They are the number 1 seed as of right now.
Right, and I'm going on Wednesday. I'm going to go see the Miami game, and the Celtics are playing probably the best hoop I think I've ever seen them play with the 2 J's. And the thing that's amazing to me is that the game is still played with fundamentals. Even though the 3-point shot has taken over, even though the lackluster defense has taken over, the high points, 130 to 125 appears to be the norm. The Celtics are winning with just good defense of people buying in. They are having an absolute field day with trapping players. You notice this? They trap the guy with the ball instantly, and they double team. They don't care who it is. They don't care if you're the 7th man on the bench. They're going to double team you if you have the ball. Then they switch over and they just create a problem. And I think teams are confused.
They are.
They're not sure what to do. They're not used to seeing this. You know why?
Say they're not used to this.
You want to know why this is? Because there's a bunch of turd buckets that came from AAU, which I think is a respectable place. That's a lot of great players have gone by there. But I think AAU traumatizes talented young kids. And they think that this is how it's going to be, that you're going to be able to get through everybody and anyone. And I think going into that and then goes into college and high school, right? It starts there.
Yeah, then it's the prep school.
Yeah, and then these prodigy kids who have an immense talent, now they're not seeing the adversity in that type of basketball that the Celtics are playing. And the Celtics are playing a basketball that is not exciting, except on offense when the ball moves around and things go off the backboard and things get dunked on, like last night. Thank you very much, Jalen, for doing that. And thank you, Marcus, for going off, kissing it off the glass. It's a poster moment for those of you who still want posters like I do.
Yeah, but that's what most fans want. That's what they want to see.
So, and there's a few, we talked about this, and it continues. There's a few shooters that are shooting lights out. And Pritchard and Grant Williams, God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Grant Williams, from the 3-point line has, from the arc has been the guy. The poor man.
Grant Williams. Just let that sit for a little bit.
He runs on his tiptoes and his butt is always in the way. He gets to his corner and he just sits there and camps and does marshmallows and gold graham crackers. And then he gets the ball and bangs a 3. I don't know what to do. It's working. What can I say?
I know.
I don't know what to do.
You know what's funny? In Pritchard can't miss anything. Every shot he takes, he hits.
I think he could kick it in and it's going to go in. Like, he is that good.
Wow. You know what? What a steal of a pick that was last year.
It really was.
Believe it or not.
And the
I didn't even know who Peyton Pritchard was.
Neither do I. I can't even spell Peyton Pritchard. But and I think but I know that and John had mentioned I was going to go right into this. The coaching, we talked about this the last few weeks. Something happened with the coaching, and they were buying in eventually when the team wasn't playing well, and there was, I think, a do or die. If you do not play my style, you, the Jays, Marcus, Horford, Robert Williams, all the guys, if you're not playing my way. And they shortened the bench up a little bit too, which I like. They got rid of some players, put them in the G League. I moved on to some of them. They got rid of other guys. Schroeder and Shooter and Richardson. Yep. Did Edwards go too? Carson Edwards go too.
Carson, he went a while ago.
He went a while ago, right?
But
it was this year. Right. All these players, they shortened up. They cut the fat, and they bought into his style of play. And they're buying into the defending. And the thing about Eben, he sits there, and he looks. He's not like he looks serious and angry, but it's almost like, oh man, I don't want to let that guy down because he looks like upsetting, very serious. He sits down, he looks at things, and you can tell he's absolutely processing what's going on in the game. I think he's a smart guy who knows the game, who took a while to get the team to play right. And I think it was probably because the culture wasn't right. And I think there was an ultimatum that was given, Cole. And that ultimatum was, if you don't play my way, I will get fired, and you will go back to Mr. Willigers. And we're going to get Mr. Rogers in here. I don't have to go any further, do I?
Well, listen, speaking of Mr. Rogers, he's done a hell of a job, making these trades and kind of getting his team where it's at, believe it or not. As much as we say he was kind of a boring coach.
No, but he's doing better in that back office.
Maybe that's where he belongs.
Yep. So the question now obviously becomes is where the Celtics going to land. Where are they going to finish? They got 7 games left, I believe.
Well, we'll see. Losing Robert Williams is going to be a huge
I'm
piece,
hoping it's not
because that guy has been playing out of his mind.
And the 2 big towers are not playing tonight. So Justin,
I don't think anyone's playing tonight.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting.
I think they're giving everyone a night off.
Yeah, so place your bets, as Justin Torres wants to do. So place your bets, and it might be one that you might want to bet against the seas. It sounds like a good point. You got to watch those things, and if you're into that stuff, place your bets because they are not having a lot of their stars go tonight. I really hope Williams. They didn't look that serious. I'm really hoping it's not because he has been lights out. A little injury prone is my concern with that guy, but he has been pretty good. He's been really good actually, and actually Al Horford's been excellent as well.
Yeah,
and doing his thing.
Even Tice, believe it or not. I know everyone trashed that trade, but
better than Cantor.
Tice has been pretty solid.
Better than Cantor.
And Justin, you already missed that. We already talked about the World Cup.
I did. That was my opening vent, Justin, but I'll do it again just for you, Sunshine. So the opening vent was brought to you by. So the reality was I was talking about the Men's World Cup, of course. Pulisic, 3 goals. The 3rd goal that he scored, what a disgusting goal. I got to get back into it. He gets to the first touch. He megs himself, and he megs the play and finishes with the same foot. Disgustingly good. 5-1, no doubt. They're going to go to Qatar, man. They're going to go to Qatar, and if they get a good group there, who knows? So I did talk about that, Justin. I will not forget that. Come on, you know me. So I'm a suck ahead. So the Celtics, again, what do you think they're going to finish? I mean, what do you think they're going to end up being? They're in a position that most folks did not think we're going to.
But what's funny? Even tonight, they're not having most of their starters play. But I wouldn't doubt that they'll go in Toronto and kick Toronto's ass. Man.
They might.
That's just how good even the bench players have been playing.
Yeah.
And this will be good for the Pritchards and the Neesmiths to get more playing time. And let's see what they do.
Yeah, let's see.
Because they're going to need it.
Yep. 508-974-3040. We got time to go into another quick segment. Oh, you want to take a break now?
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
I want to go a little bit into the Bruins. I do. The Bruins have been playing at a level as far as win streak that's parallel to the Celtics.
Yes, they have.
And both teams are in Boston. Both teams are obviously in TD Garden.
It has to be that place, right? It's gonna be that.
It's gotta be the mojo. I think it's those long pizzas that I love.
Sal's.
Yeah.
Sal's pizza.
Yeah. I wouldn't have that on Wednesday. Yeah. I want mine with extra cream.
$22.
Is that all? I could buy 15 Little Caesars for that price. And the Bruins. I've won 14 of the last 17 games. And folks, don't get that twisted with that 6-3 beatdown on the Islanders. Yeah, I know the Islanders stink. But how they won was front to back, soup to nuts, an absolute dominating performance on all lines to include the goaltending. And I think the moves might be sneaky good. And the Bees are 4 points. 4 points from the top of the division.
Well, I think Sweeney was kind of on the hot seat. Do you think he was?
I think he was.
I think this was a big.
I think he was
a big trade deadline.
They were kind of sitting in that gutter spot 7-8-6,
Yes.
7-8-6, 7-8-6. A little bit like the Celtics were, and the Bees have come out of it. They're getting into corners. They're getting healthy. Bergeron came back, and they're still doing things. But what I'm liking is the things that they're doing is moving the puck around better, getting more shots on net.
Correct.
And putting shots on net. And Pasternak just, he had the hat trick the other day against Tampa Bay. That's no joke.
And Tampa Bay kind of owns the
Tampa
Bruins
Bay
now.
is not a joke of a team. And that was a big-time win for that team. Big-time win.
As Pedro says, Tampa Bay is your...
So that's kind of what we're seeing at with the Breeze is, they're coming around. I'm not sure if they're still going to be a World Cup contender. I mean, Stanley Cup contenders. I do think that they're going to be, at least predominantly big with what they're doing as far as the lines movement, as far as how they're maneuvering the puck, as far as getting shots on net. And let's see if that defense can button up a little bit more, and then they're going to be okay. And I think they're going to be okay. They're playoff bound. They have a few more games left than what the Celtics do, but don't sleep on the team.
Yeah, but you know what? This is a really exciting time to be a Boston sports fan. I mean, you got the Bruins playing well, the Celtics playing really well, and look at the Red Sox right around the corner, man. They're going to be playing games next Friday, right? Next Thursday or Friday is the opening day already.
Yeah, and they've been killing it and raking it over there down there. So there you have it, folks. Well, that's our segment right there, and we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll see you on the other side and talk a little bit of NFL, perhaps, and maybe some baseball. So don't go away anywhere. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, folks, to Comin In Klutch. I am Nelson, your host, and to my right, your left, is Kobe, and we are here every Monday night, 6:30 to 7:30. We came out of that longer break, talked about some Celtics, March Madness, and, of course, your Bruins. Red hot Bruins, red hot Celtics. Life is good in TD.
It is. It's very good.
Life is good down there. And they're going to make they're making the playoffs. And once again, an immense kudos to the Boston, city, for having those teams relevant. And this is what upsets me when the Patriots are being chastised because they've had maybe a lull or a down year. They've had all these years of success. And there's like lull that happens, and all of a sudden, now they're going to be completely irrelevant, which goes into, drums please, to the work that I've been putting in over the last couple of days to discuss the infatuation of Bill Belichick not being able to draft in the first round. So you know what I did, Cope? We're going to play a little Q&A.
Let's go.
What I did is I went back to 1992.
Oof, I was 3 years old.
So it's 30 years. So we're going to have 3 decades of stuff. And it's going to be something we can go through, I guess, a road in history
Okay.
to see what has unraveled. Before I go into this, let's go into common basic questions, Cole. What does it take for a team to have a top 10 pick? What does it take?
That would entail the team to suck.
Yep, to blow donkey dicks. Yep. That's what it takes. Yep.
Or donkey dick, sorry. Should have just said it like that from the beginning.
But so it takes a team not to be very good.
Correct.
Right? Which means the team is going to have a higher pick because their record reflects that. Okay. So I went back in time and I saw what the records were in relation to what they drafted the next following year.
Okay.
So the talk has always been that the tuna, Bill Parcells, was here from 93 to 96. He was, and he drafted a lot of great players, but a lot of those players actually came much later than the first round.
Interesting.
Which is very ironic because Bill Belichick's persona and success has been predicated on players much more beyond day one of the NFL draft. So, in 1990, we'll go there. They were 1-15. And in 1991, they were 6-10. And in 1992, they were 2-14. You know what that tells me in 3 years? You blow.
They were the New York Jets.
They were blacked out. They were very irrelevant.
And if you wanted to see them, that's when you had to buy a $5 ticket to probably go to the stadium.
You had to go to the Shea Stadium. So in 1993, they were 5-11.
This is when the tuna was there, correct?
Tuna gets there. Okay. They draft Drew Bledsoe.
First
overall. Here's Drew Bledsoe in the Patriots record. 93-94. Here we go. 10-6 in 1994. 6-10 in 95. 5-11. 11-5 in 96. 10-6 in 97. Super Bowl year. 9-7 in 1998. So those 3 years that the tuna was there, they went 10-6, 6-10, 11-5. Not bad. Not great, not bad. 2 out of 3 years, they were successful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're going to go into the draft picks. In 1990, they drafted a guy by the name of Chris Singleton, who was actually a linebacker. He was actually a pretty good player. Then they drafted a guy by the name of Ray Agnew.
This is the first round?
First round. These are all first rounders. And Ray Agnew was also a first round pick. Defensive end. Pat Harlow, number 11, in 1991. So 1991, they had the 11th overall pick. Then the 4th overall pick, they had a running back by Leonard Russell. Let me know when you start finding players that really get you excited. 1992, offensive tackle, Eugene Chung.
You tell me you don't have a Eugene Chung poster on your wall?
I do not. Ray Agnew, I do vaguely remember, and Chris Singleton, I think those players became pretty good. 1993, Drew Bledsoe, number 1 pick. 1994, you kind of stunk in 1993. So you get the 4th overall pick. You get Willie McGinnis.
Pretty good player right there.
94, you got a pretty good year. And you're not going to draft 1 or 2 or 4. You're going to draft later. You draft 23. You get Ty Law. 1996, you end up stinking in 95. Enough where you get the 7th overall pick. And you get a receiver in Terry Glenn. This is the era that people keep throwing down our throats about the tuna. Okay. Now, that was fine. But now we're going to go into what else he did.
Okay. And you talk about the later rounds?
The later rounds.
Okay.
In the later rounds, other players came around like, Brewski and so forth. But my point is that those are the first round picks that he was able to acquire.
Okay.
We're going to move on to he leaves. He's gone.
Yes.
Chris Canty, cornerback, 97, 29th overall.
This is the Pete Carroll era, right?
Yep, Pete Carroll. Robert Woods, running back. Remember him. Tabucky Jones, who was always injured, 22 overall.
You mean Robert Edwards?
Robert Edwards. What did I say?
Robert Woods.
Oh, no. That would have been nice. No, Robert Edwards. Yeah, Robert Edwards from Georgia, 18. This is all in 1998.
Okay.
1999, Damian Woody,
ESPN analyst now.
ESPN analyst, right? Which I believe might have been a
He's a Boston College grad.
Yep, he is. Then we had a guy by Andy Kazipnoyer, 28th.
Andy Katzamoya. Wow, I remember that name.
That's
Number
a Moyer,
59.
right?
Yep.
2000, they don't get a pick. Now, I don't think Bill took over yet in 99. I think he inherited Damian Woody. Okay.
Correct. I think Bill came on in 2000.
Yep. And then we have players like Vince Wilfork in 04, Ben Watson, Logan Mankins, Lawrence Maroney, Brandon Merriweather, Gerard Mayo. All those players were deep into the first round, 21, 22, 24, 32nd. And 10th was Gerard Mayo.
And they were all picked by who?
The great Bill Belichick. The Belichick for some of you. Then there's no pick in 09. Spygate. Devin McCourty, 2010, still playing. Nate Solder, who won the being a
I think he's still playing too.
Still playing. Chandler Jones and Dante Hightower, the back-to-back ones. Chandler Jones still playing. Dante Hightower is still here. Dominic Easley, not a great pick. Malcolm Brown, not a great pick.
Then he went to the Saints, kind of fizzled out.
Okay. But in 2001, you had Richard Seymour. 2002, you had Damian Woody. 2003, you had Ty Warren, who I believe got killed or passed away or something.
I don't know, but Ty Warren was a pretty solid player.
Respectable guy. Okay. My point is this. They were picking high in the draft, with the exception of Richard Seymour. Bill Belichick has only had a top 15 pick like 4 times. Seymour 6, Ty Warren 13, Gerard Mayo 10, and now Mac Jones 15. Everyone else in the high picks.
So what does that tell you?
What that tells me is that, first of all, the draft picks are a crapshoot in general. But what it tells me is that when you're winning, it's hard to get a high-end pick.
Of course.
Because your record is going to dictate when you're going to get picked. And the body of work that I just presented, these are players that were first-round players who won championships, who were predominantly big and important in the role of building a Tom Brady in that first half of that era. And also some of those players who still exist here, Devin McCourty and Dante Hightower, to name a couple. And Chandler Jones would have been here if they wanted to pay him. Now, we go to our records.
No, Chandler Jones would have been here if he didn't get high and call the Foxborough police or whatever he called.
People forget about that.
Thank you. Yes.
Forget about that. So in 2000, you go 5-11. And in 2001, you're 11-5. There goes your era with the Super Bowl and Tom Brady. 9-7. Now we go into the wonder years. 14-2, 14-2, 10-6, 12-4, 16-0, of course. 11-5, 10-6, 14-2, 13-3, 12-4, 12-4, 12-4, 12-4, 12-4, 14-2. You see my point?
Yes.
You had a team, folks. Wake up. You had a team that was winning multiple double digits every year. You are not going to get a top 10, top 12, top 15, top 5 pick. It doesn't work that way. So you had to pick later in the draft, just like all the other bozos do.
Correct.
So if you want to, so what do you want to do? Do you want to be 2-4, 2-15? Now it's 2-15. Do you want to be 1-16, 5-12, and go get a top 6 pick and go get a player by the name of whoever that might not work? Or do you want to be relevant and win double digits and go with what you have? This thing about the draft, which is coming up, is why I'm going on this rant. The players in the eras that I told you about were records that were dictating what you're going to do the following year in the first round, because that's what the gripe is always about the first round. I don't want to hear about second, third, or fourth, or fifth round, because the Pats have gained value through multiple different coaches through its history.
You're right.
I'm talking about first round. This infatuation with first round. The Pats would get out of the first round to go get other players.
People will be pissed off about that.
So my point is that there was a history there with the Pats prior to Bill Belichick, with the exception of those 3 years that the tuna was here and the first pick. And like Terry Glenn was a nice player. They're making it sound like Terry Glenn was Randy Moss. Like, he was a nice player.
Yeah, he was a nice player. I mean, I think his career was a little bit better after he left.
I think so too.
I think where did he go to Dallas?
Yeah, it's so was Curtis Martin's.
Yeah,
Curtis Martin was way better in the Jets.
And Curtis Martin was good here. But he was, he was definitely a better player with the Jets.
And Bledsoe in 93, Bledsoe goes 10-6, 6-10, 11-5, 10-6, 9-7, 8-8, 5-11. And then you wonder why there was a confusion about maybe he shouldn't be the guy. He didn't really have stellar records. He was relevant 1 year. And that was the building up of Bill Parcells, of him drafting him.
Correct.
So my rant on that is that people need to just do a little bit of homework and understand that you're drafting, obviously, based on your record. And when you're drafting high, it's kind of a crapshoot up there. And we have had the Pats have had hits on some of those. They've hit on some of those higher picks. They had Dante Hightower, Chandler Jones, 21 and 25. Devin McCourty was high up there. I think 1 year, it might have been close to the second round. Deion Branch was a little bit later on. There was, but I'm not saying everyone.
But what's funny is they never hit on wide receivers. Did you know that?
Right.
Bill Belichick cannot draft wide receivers. Which is ironic to me because when you hear that list, there's some pretty good players on that list.
Yep. All right. I mean, you look at N'Keal Harry. Okay, Isaiah Wynn maybe is questionable too. Sonny Michel still in the league. A lot of players,
but Wynn's still here, right?
Yeah, Wynn is still here. And then obviously we have Malcolm Brown and Dominic Easy weren't so much, so they can't hit on every single one. But you look at Chandler Jones, Dante Hightower, Mac Jones. I think will be okay. Nate Solder, Devin McCourty. Like they were hitting on players, and Jerron Mayo was his real top 10 pick he ever had. And
Jerron Mayo hit on that one.
He definitely hit on that one. So what I'm saying is if you give Bill Belichick a top 10 pick, he will hit better than the other 31 teams. Or the other, I don't want to say 31. I won't be as arrogant. He will hit better than more than half of the other teams if he gets a top 10 pick. He doesn't get a top 10 pick because you're winning. You were winning. You can't have both.
But this is what people want. They want the Patriots to go far into the playoffs. And they don't realize that, listen, Of course, we want the Patriots to do good, but we're more realistic. You know what I'm saying? We know that it's going to take time to get back to that prominence again. All right? This is just see, because Brady went to Tampa and won his first year, that's what they expect out of New England.
Yeah.
And that's just not going to happen, guys.
Correct.
Tampa was already loaded. They were one piece away, and that was the quarterback. That's the difference. The Patriots aren't one piece away.
They're not.
Okay?
I'm just trying to make it understand to the folks that there's going to be a time where Belichick's going to move on, and there's going to be a new regime here.
Yes.
And that regime can make or break, the next several years. And the daunting laughing stock coming in was the fact that, Mac Jones is on his own island, doing his own training. What do you want, Bill Belichick to hold his hand all the way through the offseason? Tom Brady was doing what he had to go do. Tom Brady was going to Montana to go train with his receivers and his tight ends. I didn't see Bill Belichick out there with a water bottle.
Well, I can tell you Mac Jones is focused. I can tell you Mac Jones is training, and he's ready to go.
I think he's an adult that has guidance. Just because it's not the coach giving you guidance doesn't mean that there isn't guidance there.
Just because it's not Mac 10 gym, whatever you want to call it, the Mac 10 clinic there.
Exactly.
Next to TB12.
Right.
He's not working. No, he's not Tom Brady. He will never be Tom Brady. And that's what we need to be. People need to accept that and then just enjoy the ride. Like we've been saying for weeks here. Enjoy this process, okay?
The process could have painful moments, but it's part of the rebuilding process in phase. You're not going to just have an incubator there that has another Tom Brady just booming out of nowhere. This isn't the Steve Urkel thing, all right? Like, it doesn't work that way. And they had to draft a quarterback at that position because it was an important position. If Bill Belichick did not think that the quarterback position was an important position, why would he draft at 15? Now, you could say, well, there was pressure by the owner. There was pressure by this. I don't care what the pressure or not pressure was. The reality is they made a move, and they had that pick in very fast.
Correct. They already knew who they wanted. It was a no-brainer.
508-974-3040.
I just laugh sometimes.
And I want to give that little history lesson because it's important for fans to understand the process.
But the fans also want to get younger. How do you get younger? Through the draft. Correct? Am I wrong to say that?
That's typically how it works.
But yet they want them to go spend all this money in free agency. Most of these guys are 28, 29, 30. So what is it? Again, do you you can't say you want to get younger, but then get pissed off when they don't spend $100 million on all these players.
Right, like a 32-year-old Von Miller.
Yes.
So I just want to make it known that the drafting can be a crapshoot, especially in the top end. But you go through all the busts that have happened in the first overall pick. DeMarcus Russell was
that guy's what do you get? What do you make? $100 million?
Yeah.
Only played like 4 games in the league.
I mean, it was awful. And Ryan Leaf is probably the next biggest buff. So I'm just simply stating the fact that it takes time to develop players. You're taking a shot on a player based on what you're seeing in the college, which is a big difference between the pros. Some programs like Alabama and Georgia and LSU being comparable to the pro level? Yes, they're comparable. They're not there yet. The games are played different. The magnitude of competition is different. The schedule is different.
Correct.
So you have to stop being smarter, folks, and understanding that Tom Brady's not coming back. And the fact that you think he was the only player that won all the championships, he was a big part of that. But there was drafting involved with some quality players that Bill Belichick found and his staff found.
Coaching, man.
And I'm talking about the first round because that's where the biggest criticism is. Oh, Brando, Bill Belichick can't draft in the first round. This guy sucks. Most teams who do really well do better on the tail end. But that's where your Elements came from. That's where your Gronks came from.
People forget about that. Edelman was what, a 5th or 6th round?
7th, my friend.
7th round pick. And
quarterback for
look
Kent
what
State.
That guy turned out to be. Okay.
Yep. So 508-974-3040. That was my little Q&A. Thank you for participating, Cole.
I tried. Do I get an A for that?
You do. You did very, very well. Not the A+ yet because I'm still venting. So there you have it. We got a few more minutes on our podcast. Thank you for chiming in. We got some folks still viewing. Keep viewing. Your views allows us to keep going. And me having my ugly mug on this microphone. And boy, am I swallowing this microphone tonight, boy. Let me tell you, you're going to have to stain this thing. You're going to have to sanitize this thing with some COVID relief.
I feel bad for whoever's sitting there next.
Yep. Beware because the Cabral saliva is being left behind. So the game tonight, we got the Toronto Raptors. I want to say the Celtics are just going to win it by 20 points. Why not? Because that's what they've been doing.
They've been killing everybody by 20.
Been killing everybody. I think you and I can go play out there with that defense.
Probably.
Stick me in the corner like Grant Williams. I'm going to throw it up. I got to get one in.
Of course.
It's
bound to happen.
It's bound to happen, right? Colby, on one of the segments, something that we don't talk about too often, and that is...
it's a big weekend for you wrestling heads.
Yes, WrestleMania. Yes, we talk wrestling here. It's real. It's real. That's real blood. That's real blood, Colby.
Yep. I know, people can perceive wrestling, however they want it. That's fine. But what I do know is this is probably one of the most entertaining events of the year.
It is.
WrestleMania. And it should be entertaining. It's coming from live from AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, home of the Cowboys. So just think about that. They're probably going to have about 110,000 fans at this wrestling event.
I can't wait to sell them Cowboys on this. I can't wait to. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You mean there's gonna be a lot of Cowboys there?
Yeah. Oh, and Cowgirls.
I'll leave you the Cowgirls. I'll take the Cowboys. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a big one.
I could say I actually experienced WrestleMania in Dallas a few years back.
You would.
And it was crazy. Just being in that stadium alone for anything is nuts, but being there with 110,000 fans was surreal, man. It was crazy.
I can only imagine how that sounds like.
And I got lucky where me growing up watching wrestling, I got to see Stone Cold come out, The Rock came out, all the people I grew up came out. And there's rumors out there, The Rock might make an appearance this week. Believe it or not, Stone Cold Steve Austin is coming out of retirement. And we'll be fighting this weekend.
I did read something about that. And I thought it might have been.
He's coming out of retirement for this one match in his home state of Texas.
Do you think he can still catch the beers?
Listen, as long as I see a stunner and him catching about 10 beers after, my night will be made.
There you
go. That's all I
need
to see.
There you have it, folks. There's going to be some WrestleMania action this weekend. So what's the main event and who's winning it?
So believe it or not, WrestleMania used to be a one-night thing. Now they're making it a two-night event. So it's going to be Saturday and Sunday. So there'll be two main events. I believe Saturday night's main event will be Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. Good old UFC, Ronda Rousey. He's now in WWE.
Okay, so it's the women.
Yep, the women. Cool. And Sunday night will be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Winner takes all.
Yeah, that's the one, right?
Yep.
So you got Roman Reigns, who I think is legit.
I think Roman Reigns is the face of WWE.
I really think
He
he's
is
been like
the
that for a
face
while.
of WWE.
And Brock just keeps coming back whenever he wants it. And you know what? Everyone will take him.
Yeah.
UFC will take him. MMA stuff, wrestling, whatever.
Yeah, and believe it or not,
If WCW came back and he would be there. I mean, everybody wants him.
Yeah, so like I said, this is going to be fun. Tonight's probably one of the best Raws of the year, just because it's leading up to WrestleMania.
Of course.
And who knows what's going to happen? There's rumors for all you AEW fans who like AEW versus WWE. Cody Rhodes, who started AEW, has signed a contract with WWE. He's a major wrestler, and there's rumors that he'll be at WrestleMania fighting this weekend.
Does he wear Portuguese tights? What's his?
Not 100% there.
See, someday I will have my Portugal guy come on of retirement. Well, there you go, folks. That's some good stuff right there for all you WrestleMania heads. We talk a little bit about everything here. So I think that's all we have time for today, Cobe. And thanks everyone for chiming in and listening. And hopefully, you get the call in next time. We didn't get a ton of calls today, but we want to see your faces on our podcast, because that's what makes it tick. That's what makes it go. We talked a little bit about everything today, and hopefully we're able to hit all the different little pockets of sports. We talked a little bit about the Red Sox, for those of you who were thinking about whether we left them out or not. Some of you were wondering if we're going to do that.
Yeah, and I think maybe next Monday we can get into it more, considering the season will be starting next
Absolutely.
week. So
there you have it, folks. So as always, the Comin In Klutch podcast, 6:30 to 7:30 on the Eric B Media platform, is being brought to you by the awesome, amazing folks at Troy City Mortgage, the best place to get a mortgage in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, which is led by the great Dave Pereira. The team at Troy City have deep roots and deep knowledge and local roots with expert solutions to get you the best mortgage possible. And give them a call at 508-207-5864, 508-207-5864. And they, of course, had partnered up, tag team. They have now partnered up with the Walsh Title and Closing Group. Very important for your closing needs, and very important for those proper closing, those title documents. I went through a closing on Thursday. What a nightmare, let me tell you. So it's good to have a company like that and a team together, and those two are working hand in hand to make you the very best experience when it comes to your mortgages. Coming at Walsh Title, give them a call at 508-858-5725. That's 508-858-5725. Thank you, Walsh. And thank you, Troy City Mortgage, for confiding in the one and only Comin In Klutch, 6:30 to 7:30 on Monday nights, and the Eric B Media. Cobe, what do you got?
that was good.
Thank you.
Jeez, I can't compete with that.
No, you can't. So give it a shot, my friend. Great sweatshirt, though.
Cool BT is brought to you by DJ Classic. You can book DJ Classic at yahoo.com. And remember, now's the time to start booking all those parties, because we know party season is coming.
Yes, it is. Folks, that's all we have time for tonight. Come back to us again on next Monday. Go ahead.
Core Nutrition. Let me get that in again. 25 Market Street in Swansea. Like I said, best Herbalife shakes around, and is great.
Yeah, I'll be seeing a lot more now that the weather's getting a little bit better. So I should be going there all the time, but I will be seeing them a lot more
every
now.
morning. I'm there.
So, folks, once again, thank you for chiming in. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back again next Monday, 6:30, 7:30 p.m. Eric B Media, Comin In Klutch. I'm Nelly.
I'm Colby.
And we are out. Have a good night.